Welcome back to another episode. I am Boonie with the Social Psycho Podcast, and I'm here with Goldie and VANJALYN.
And my name is R.E.A.L, host of the R.E.A.L Educated Analysis of Life podcast. And I'm here with Martell and Love.
This is going to be our first joint episode, first of many probably. You know, we still working some kinks out, but this is going to be our first joint episode. Right. And in this episode, we're going to talk about mental health in the Black community, because that's a topic that's important, something that we need to discuss more. I see it being talked about on social media and places like that, but I feel like bringing people together to discuss it is always, beneficial.
It's a very important topic and something that gets glanced over too much, especially in our community.
Definitely.
And that's why it really needs to be talked about.
Definitely, because we start with the labels. We label people, and we don't really hear about the things that they go through in their lives. So, yeah, we hoping to, open some minds, give you different perspectives on things. Definitely. But I want to start it off with a question that I have. I think before we started recording, you asked how were we introduced to it, to mental health. Yeah. So I think that's the best question to start off with. So how were you introduced to mental health? And anybody can jump in.
I will. I'm Martell. How y'all doing? Just basically don't talk about it. Like don't talk about it. Like, how are you feeling? We just don't do it. Like, it's being a man or a boy growing up to be a man. We don't feel feelings. Like, we don't feel hurt. We don't feel pain, apparently. Like, it's all false. Like, I mean, it's kind of crappy that, we grow up that way, but, we also can change. But it was rough. But yeah, that's just my little thing. It was rough.
For me,
go ahead. You go.
For me, we didn't really discuss mental health in my family. I think I was just one of those kids that like asked a lot of questions. When I see people behaving a certain way or whatever, I would be asking like, why do they behave like that to this, but you don't behave like that to this, stuff like that. And we had these encyclopedias in our house, back in the day in the 90s. We had those encyclopedias and I used to read them all the time. So I used to learn a lot of stuff. So I would like diagnose my family members. I know they hated me for it. I was always hitting them with facts like, do y'all know this? Did y'all know that? Did y'all know this could happen? And they like, bro, we do not want to hear this. We want to play. Like, what are you talking about? But I ain't let up on them or whatever. I'm still talking their ears off about it. Still reminding people that they are human beings, and you need people to talk to and people to listen to you. So that's kind of my introduction.
My personal story with my personal introduction with mental health was actually myself. I noticed like depression was becoming, that's back when it became like a trend to be depressed. I was like, wait, you're not supposed to think that way. So then I actually went up to my mom and I was like, I think I have depression. She was like, no, you don't. And at that point I realized, I was like, okay, this is going to be a fight. So it's big for me when it comes to depression, anxiety as well, because I have that as well. But mental health is a serious topic that is never talked about. It's like,
it's the forbidden conversation, especially in the Black home group.
In our community. We tell people they got demons, or he just got demons. He got demons that he got that he dealing with or whatever. And it's like, no, they don't.
Or it's feminine. They
right.
Say that. It's too feminine. I ain't gonna say that the G word, but it's feminine. And it's really not. Like it's really like it's a good thing
Yeah.
in touch, but also be in control of it too.
Right.
Yeah. Mine was like watching films, and you know how they always show like the extreme of mental health, but not like it's kind of common, like as far as anxieties or feeling depression. Like, so it was, for me, it wasn't talked about either. It was just more what I observed, and oh, that person's crazy or this person's crazy versus what led up to them acting that way.
Right.
Um. So as you guys probably know, I experience my own type of form of mental health. I have anxieties or certain things that made me depressed, as far as in my family or people that I witnessed things happen to. And people don't know that mental health, for me, I was actually in a mental hospital, so I've seen different type of mental scenarios, as far as people who's normal. You will expect them to be crazy. I mean, I've seen some crazy things, but it wasn't like that. And I remember last year is talking about I might need to go to a mental hospital because I just want to get away with everybody. And then my friend of mine was like, "Shh, don't say that. They might think you're crazy." And I'm like, I just want a solidarity. I just want peace. Everybody around me is making me crazy, I feel like. And then, I end up going there and I learned some things. Like, people don't understand, like, it's different type of mental health, as far as like drug addictions. That's what makes you go to a mental institution, or if you wasn't served in a military, it's certain things that led you to mental health issues. And we all kind of have that. And then I remember somebody telling me that they never been depressed, and I'm like, really? Like,
Right.
what?
I
Like,
don't know.
There are
I
people
think they
out there
lying.
that say that. I've heard, like, I don't really know how to talk to you about that because I've never experienced it. And I'm like,
Right.
really?
Right.
they tell you, they
No.
push it down. I'm like, where did it go?
Right.
Depression with the mental illness.
Exactly. Where does it go?
It went
Like,
somewhere.
Think of
I
depression
think
with
it
the
was
mental
street color
illness.
at this point, because something, but hey. But it's a different type of depression. Some people want to escape the world, and some people feel like they might get noticed if they escape the world, or somebody was telling me they wanted to take their own life because then people will finally love them. Versus when I had depression and I didn't I felt like I was a burden to a lot of people, and it wasn't to make me get noticed, for me to feel less, not burning other people. And that's when I was a teenager, and everybody have our own experiences as far as depression. And so what about y'all? Like,
Okay. My introduction was different because my father worked in a mental hospital when I grew up. He was a psychiatric technician. So he worked with it's a state hospital in California where they call them like pretty much like the most extreme cases worked there. And so when I went there when I was younger, my dad kind of explained it, and he was just like, he basically said people were crazy, like he said, oh, people for I'm not holding back. So he said people would put literal feces inside of a toothpaste tube and use it like that. Like, he was
But
said,
how they get it in there? Like how? Like how it got in there? I'm so
I don't know. I don't know.
You cut the toothpaste open. Only reason I know this is because I've seen people do other things with it, but you cut it open, you do what you do, put it in there, and you get something hot and seal it back closed.
Why do you know this? Why do you know this?
Because
Were
I
they
stay up
brushing
till
their teeth
3
with their
a.m.
feet?
sometimes looking stuff up.
Jeez.
wow.
Wow.
Were
So
they brushing their teeth with it?
yes, my dad said that he saw people literally doing that before. There was this all kind of cases. So it was never really talked about other than my dad works there. Dad worked with the crazy people until I turned 12 years old and I realized that I was dealing with depression. I had brought a knife to school to kill myself in front of the class because I was getting bullied. And I had somebody tell me in class that oh, give me that knife, I will help you. Let's go to the bathroom, I will help you kill yourself. In 7th grade.
They're
And so,
Wow.
That's terrible.
and I got admitted to the mental hospital for the first time. And even after that point, my parents didn't take it serious. So you would think that my father working with the people, he would be more understanding. My mom didn't believe it at all. He said he just faking, ain't nothing wrong with him. I'm just like, why would I fake depression?
Right.
So that was my introduction. I'll go deeper into the story as we go along. But
And even if you were faking, you never saw an example of what that looked like though, right?
never.
So how would you know how to act?
I didn't even know what the word suicide meant at 12 years old. This is me in 1999. Like, I didn't know what that meant.
Oh. What
I
about
think
you, Van?
For me, it was a gradual thing. It wasn't anything that was introduced to me or really talked about. It was more of something I just kind of slowly, bit by bit, started getting into. Like, I did have certain thoughts when I was little and didn't think anything of it because, I mean, it was nothing to talk about. I was a very quiet child, so it was more of those things that just stayed in my head. Um, if it did seem like I was trying to do anything, I was raised by my grandma. Well, yeah, and she was just like, "That's what crazy people do," or that's crazy stuff. Like, you're not crazy, or then she'll turn around and tell my mama I need to go to therapy, but couldn't tell me what I need to go to therapy for.
Huh?
And it just wasn't anything talked about. And then as I got older, I didn't even know, like, I had heard the word depression, but I associated depression with like people who wanted to commit suicide, people who were just sad all the time. I didn't even know what depression was. So I was like 20, maybe, because I used to think about all the times that I just wanted to sleep and I put it up to being tired. But I realized I put a lot of energy into, like, I had 2 jobs and was in school. And I would still find time to go and hang out with my friends. But I like to sleep a lot. And I used to put it up to me just being tired, but I realized I wasn't actually tired. I just was like slightly depressed. Not like it was like mild depression, like here and there.
Right.
And then when I started realizing, like, having conversations with my friends and listening to them and how like their parents treat them or how their parents were growing up versus and how they were at that time with them being adults and comparing how their parents were to my mom. And I'm just like, Mom, what are y'all talking about? Like, my mom's not like that at all. So I had a huge disconnect. 'Cause I'm like, what are y'all why would somebody do that? And then realizing that's why they acted the way that they did. And my friend that passed away, it wasn't until like being around her all the time, listening to what she was going through, seeing what she was going through, that I was able to put like some labels on things, some words, and actually associate depression and stuff and some sort of mental illness to other things. But I didn't actually get into it until I was pregnant with my son. And then further, I know I said this in another episode, when I was watching that commercial that was like, this guy felt like he didn't have a right to be loved because he was schizophrenic. And I was like, how bad is schizophrenia to a point you feel like you don't deserve love? And that's when I really started digging deep into it. So it wasn't until I was damn near 30 before I actually learned about mental illness.
I got you. When I was a kid, I was a sick kid too. I forgot to mention that. So I was very morbid. Like, I'm not even like I don't know how my friends dealt with me, but all I would talk about was death. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna die, because I had an illness that I was always fighting, and it was always putting me in the hospital. I can't come to school, stuff like that. Like, I would talk about death all the time. I feel like I was always depressed, but I just didn't know it. Like, I didn't know what my feelings were, because a lot of people didn't go through what I was going through. So I didn't have anything to compare it to. And I didn't realize it until when I got older. Like I said, I started researching stuff or whatever, but still wasn't something that I talked about with anybody,
Do you
because it
think
wasn't like they understood.
people that are in a similar situation to you that have sickle cell should be offered those kind of services coming out, like when they first, especially when you have it
When
so
you're
young, like you're a kid, you don't know how to process anything. It's just
yeah, and they just get into that. They
You know,
just
I feel
now
like
getting to mental health when it comes to sickle cell.
dang.
Really?
And I was thinking in my head that you had sickle cell too, but I didn't want to just go out and say that you had sickle
Yeah.
cell. But there should literally my mother-in-law, she's got sickle cell, and she came from Liberia.
Mhm.
And like at that time, it was like, oh, she's just sick.
Right.
Like so she was sick all the time, and it was like they didn't know what was going on, but until she got older. But there should be like direct funding for that specifically because that's big. That's like it's not like HIV, but
But
it's
yes, it's very it's
It's very hard
debilitating.
to live with. Yeah.
Yeah.
and
But they just now studying mental health in us. They just doing it and they just starting with doing surveys. So
Services.
yeah.
did you have another question or did you want me to ask it?
Oh yeah, you can I have a question. I have
Go
a
ahead.
couple of questions. So my first question is, how is your mental health right now?
Sorry.
Sorry, I
Sorry.
do have questions. I get personal with my questions. Sorry.
I wasn't expecting
oh,
that. I guess I'll answer since I'm over here loud laughing. I actually play my mental illness or my mental health issues. I play them kind of like a joke because like being sad and like being the depressed friend or the depressed
Right.
person that people know, it's harder for you to show people like, hey, like, yeah, I'm sad, but it's not that serious.
Right.
So that's why I laugh like that. But overall, ask the question again. My brain cells just left.
How is your mental health right
Right
now?
now. Okay, right now, I want to be in a better mental state. Right now, I feel like I'm not doing enough self love things to keep my mental state steady. Because I've realized that the way you treat yourself on an everyday basis, because we live in this body, we don't understand that at the same time, we're still treating this body a certain type of
Right.
way.
Right.
So I'm learning that if you don't treat yourself like you love being in this body, then your mental state is just going to follow along with the way you're doing.
that
So
part.
that's me right now.
That's why self-care is so important.
It is. It's
Mm-hmm.
something that I am like trying to do too. Cause like you said, I feel the same way. Like my my perspective of sickle cell was I hated it. Like we had beef. Like
Mm-hmm.
we like I hated having it. I hated talking about it and everything. And I just got to this space where I was like, I have to change the way that I look at this disease because it's gonna be with me. Like it's with me. I gotta carry it with me. I gotta change the way that I look at it. And so the first thing that I did was I wrote a letter to it, um, addressing it like it was a person or whatever. And then from there, I just kind of built this relationship with sickle cell like it was a person because I had to do that in order for me to get to a space like you said where I didn't hate my body.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and where I didn't treat it a certain type of way because I'm just sick, so it don't really matter what I do, I'm gonna be sick anyway. But I'm still trying to find that balance. It's hard being a person with the illness, trying to keep up with everybody else, going after the
Yeah.
dreams that I have. It's hard. It's hard just existing with a disease. But
Yeah.
I did have to change my relationship with it and change the way that I thought about it in order for me in order for me to cope, in order for me to not always be sad about my life, basically.
Right. My mental health right now is I'm dealing with depression and anxiety on a daily basis. So fighting through it a lot of the time is difficult, but I'm learning to pour myself into my creative spaces to help myself cope. because I realized that I'm not to bring up the controversial guy of Kanye, but he was like, he said it before, it's his superpower. And I understood that because when I'm feeling the most depressed and everything, I write some of the best stuff I've ever written in my life. it flows out of me. I'm just like, and you get me into that zone, and I'm just writing a rap song, writing a poem, writing in my book, and I'm just for hours, and I'm going, and I'm just like, this is amazing.
Right. That's why it's so hard for me to take a break. Like everybody be like, you need to take a break. You work too much. But it's like I gotta keep moving. Like I feel like I can't stop moving.
Working.
What you said, Van?
I said me at least once a day with you. Boonie, just take a break, just take a rest. But I also know, like, once you're on something, you can't actually just stop, because then it's harder to rest because you know you didn't get it done.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's my mental state for right now. Is anybody? Somebody else can go.
Yeah.
I think for me, I used to like always work all the time. So that was for me, was escaping my depression, escaping my life, to always be working or going to school or doing something. And I never got to process my emotions because I had to focus on a drama at work or other people. It was not, it was just another form of escapism, being a workaholic or something like that. It's just another form. And that's what I had to learn with myself too, because you can spend 8 hours with somebody else outside of work, but when on your free time, with my free time, then I got sad. I'm like, oh dang it, like I felt sad. So then I'm like, I'd rather be at work then, because I wouldn't be sitting here feeling sad and going through things. So
I completely understand that, for real.
Same.
I used to. That was the only time I was happy, when I was working. Sometimes I'd be dealing with everybody else's drama and everything that they're going through, and then when I get home, it's just like, dang, my life is over. Like, what just happened to all the energy that was around?
Know what to do. So I feel that on like just working. That's kind of where I was at. Like a couple months, well, not a couple months ago, like a little bit ago. I was working like every day. Not necessarily, working manual labor, but that's what I do, manual labor. And then I do life coaching, and I do notaries. I just do a bunch of stuff. So, and still take care of my kids and, family time. But like, I just been, just going and going and going. And then I found out I got a hernia, and I got like really, really, really sick. I actually had to go to a eating treatment facility for a little bit, and we'll talk about that later. I really want to talk about that. But and like I had to get help. So I had to like relearn how to eat. Like, and I still kind of, my mental state, like I'm still working on getting over bulimia. It was bulimic, legit bulimic. And like it was out of control. Like, and and then I still kind of worry about it, like, because after that surgery, it kind of it tore me up. But I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going every day. Just kind of moving forward every single day. I do my life coaching stuff, and like I never thought I was gonna end up on that side of the spectrum as far as like eating disorder and and needing that help. But like, like I got help, and like it was nice. It was nice. It's like practice what you preach kind of thing. Because I'll tell a person to go seek help in like in in 2.5 like instantly. But I don't know.
Before we move on, I have a quick question for you. What was your perspective on bulimia before you were diagnosed? Did you feel like it was like something that could happen to a Black person, or did you feel like it? Yeah, ask the question.
So absolute, bro. We've got crazy eating disorders all throughout. Just everyone got eating disorders. Like people be like, "Oh, I can't smoke. Like I gotta smoke before I eat," or "Nah, man, I can't eat at this time," or Like you should be able to consume food, put food in your mouth and ingest it and it be okay and it not like
Right.
make you feel some kind of way or uncomfortable or something. It's like, but it was something. And oh, let me touch on that too. So when I was a kid, I was not necessarily bulimic, but I was like I would keep it a secret. Like I would do
Right.
that kind of puke and rally kind of thing, where if something's making me feel uncomfortable, I just go somewhere and handle business and all right, I'm good. Let's go. But
Right.
as an adult, you become older, your body can't like it can't recover from stuff like that, that fast. So, but as a kid, people didn't know what the heck to do with me. I was like, man, what is you doing? Get your fingers out your mouth. I'm like, man, ah. I don't know.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was weird. It was weird. No one really knew what to do about it. But it's something I talk about now.
Can I kind of touch on it for a little
Yeah,
bit?
yeah, all
So
over.
to give a little bit about me and like why I'm gonna touch on it. With my depression and anxiety, I have a tendency of thinking myself into a hole to the point where I'm paralyzed. So like
Mm.
say like you wake up, it's like 9 o'clock in the morning, right? You like, oh, I'm so hungry. And it's like that hunger, it's like in the back of your spine. I'm the kind of person I'll sit there and I'm like, ooh, but what do I want to eat? And then I'll be like, now I don't feel like moving.
Bro.
So to really touch on what you're saying is like I struggle with myself to even get the act of grabbing the food. It's not even the act of actually eating it. It's more so of making it, prepping it, buying it, whatever it is I have to do. Because I feel like that's a waste of time. My biggest thing, and then that's
Bruh.
another thing because of anxiety. Anxiety is all about time. We feel like we never have enough time, or we have too much time, or there's too
Right.
much on our plate to where it feels like we don't have enough time. So it's just like anxiety on top of that eating problem. So it's just yeah,
If you
that hit me right
small
here.
portion, get like small portions and kind of prepare it if you have time, but don't stress yourself about it. But if
Mm-hmm.
you can get like one day out the week and just prepare yourself like little small meals, it'll help you. It'll definitely help you.
It's
Yeah.
the
Right.
same with me too. Every time I go through that, I message my friend. I'm like, because we always talk about being neurodivergent. And I'm like, is it neurodivergent of me to avoid eating? Because I literally will be hungry and I just don't want to, I don't want to, like you said, I don't want to get up and prepare the food. And I just don't like, and it's crazy because my relationship with food wasn't always like that. But it seems like the older I get, I feel like you said, you feel like it's unnecessary. It's certain things that I don't want to do as a human being because to me, it's like,
It's
why do I have to do
unnecessary.
this?
Yeah.
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 That's
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
it is with me having ADHD. Because one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna eat, but if I actually think about it, and that's my problem, I will eat regardless. Like I know for a fact I have an eating problem because I will eat simply because of taste, not because I'm hungry, not because I'm bored, just for taste. Well, I'll eat because I'm bored too, but I got COVID and I couldn't taste my food. Like I lost all my senses. I couldn't taste, I couldn't smell.
Yep.
And my
Yep.
husband would fix my food and and I'm like, ugh, I don't taste it. Either it was nasty or I didn't taste anything at all. So I wouldn't eat. I lost like 12 pounds of eating for taste. Like I don't be eating because I'm hungry. I
Yo,
just eat for
that's
taste.
really cool. That's not a bad thing. Like,
It is when you get look. I have gained like Boonie didn't believe me. I would tell her about my weight. She's like, "Oh, you not like that," or she'll look at my pictures. You don't look like, and I'm like, "Girl, I have gained
I
like
still don't believe her.
70 to 80 pounds." I was like 70, 80 pounds ago, and she was laughing. I was like, "I'm not joking. This was like 70, 80 pounds ago," and I was like, "Girl, when I moved in my house, I was like 150. I'm like over 200 pounds now. I have eaten." To that point, like I have a eating problem. I don't know how to stop it, but it's a problem, and it's mentally, because I will have those moments. If I think about it, I'm like, man, I gotta go in there, I gotta fix it, then I gotta figure out what I'm gonna fix, then you gotta go by the steps, and then I get in the kitchen and it's like, dang, I gotta clean the kitchen in order to fix this, because I don't like fixing nothing in a dirty kitchen. And it's a whole process, and then I'll just walk out the kitchen and go sit down.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not finna eat right now. I
same.
don't
I
want to
want
eat
to.
right now.
Or whenever you work up the nerve to actually go make something and then you're missing something, so you have to go to the store. Like, no.
It's not
My
gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen.
Same.
my
All
relationship
the
with food.
technology we have, they didn't create something that just pops food out. Like,
Without money,
Right,
I've been seeing the
like the
things like
Jetsons.
2 hours or less, and I'm like, but that's an extra $10, which I could spend by just going to get it, and I'm just like, nah, we just ain't gonna have it. Right.
My relationship with food is a little bit different because my mom said something to me that stuck with me. My mom overate. She was obese. She had the that's gastric bypass in the early 2000s before it was actually, a thing that people were doing. But she had imparted something on me when I was younger and told me the old wives' tale that if I didn't eat, then my stomach would shrink. So I had spent some time with my cousin or whatever, and we were playing video games all day, and I didn't think to eat, and I wasn't hungry. So she told me that, so I was just like, I'm gonna get sick, and my stomach's gonna shrivel up. So it stuck with me until a teenager. Even when I knew it wasn't a real thing, I'm just like, I'm not hungry, but I need to eat. So I
Right.
will force myself to eat, even when I'm not hungry. I'm not, So it caused me to gain more weight than I really should have. But I'm sitting there, I need to eat because I haven't eaten today, and it's been, I've been up for 8 hours.
I
that
can't
high
even
key ties
force
back into the mental
myself.
health.
Right.
Right.
Because that has to do with your self discipline. They planted a seed, it grew in your head as a kid into an adult, and now you're like, why do I talk to myself that way? Because of them.
Right.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly. A
true.
lot of times
Like,
people.
for
But
me, my granddad, when I was growing up, he used to tell me, because I used to eat standing up. I like to move around when I was a kid. I used to eat and just
yeah,
move around. He used to be like, you like to stand up and eat, it's gonna go to your feet. And I hated big feet when I was a kid because I was always small. Like I'm 5'3" and I'm 22. So like I'm small already. So it freaked me out. But ever since he told me that, or it was either your feet would get big or you're gonna get as big as a house.
Oh, I
And
heard
then
that.
I
Yeah.
would hear them
Yeah.
taunt my mother because my mom was overweight growing up. So it was like, okay, so y'all gonna treat me
Yeah.
like this.
it's
Nah.
crazy when you find out now that we're older that actually standing up and eating is actually healthier than sitting down and eating. Like,
I didn't know
That's
that.
it. I didn't know that
it
either.
it's it's still eating irregular, but it's okay. I mean, honestly, I do it like I do it myself, but the people at the facility said it's a terrible thing. We all sat down and ate at a table like a family, and like it was timed sessions. It's kind of trauma, but it's okay. I got over that milestone.
No,
But
it's not okay.
I was about to
It's
say we need to
not.
talk
It's not
about that, because the
okay.
first
but
time he said, but I'm
No,
okay, and I was like, we need to stop
mm-mm.
doing that. Stop
It's
telling
not.
everything that might be going on, and then being like, but I'm
I'm okay.
okay. Like,
yeah,
No,
if you're
but I'm
not,
okay.
no, that's
it's
not okay.
it's okay
Like a
not to be
sweep, like a
okay.
sweep under the rug.
I
before
was
we
vegetarian.
go ahead.
For me, I was vegetarian for like 5 years, and as soon as I started working on my mental health, I started eating back meat. And I feel like that goes along with each other, because I'm like, I don't feel anxious about eating the meat no more. I don't feel like I can care less now. I'm like, yeah, I want this one, I want this food, I want this chicken, I want. So yeah, like
Before,
I
before
want
we
it.
move on,
Let me tell you.
before we move on to the next section, the next question, I wanted to make sure that Van, did you do your check in and say how you were feeling?
Oh yeah, she
Oh,
got to do
I forgot
hers.
about that. No, I didn't. Mentally, I'm not okay. I was gonna say I was gonna pull just what I said don't do. I was about to say I'm okay, and I just told Booney like two
And I
days
was
ago,
gonna
like
say, no,
I'm
you're not.
not.
I
No, I'm not.
appreciate your
I'm not
honesty
okay.
for real.
Um, I can't even say what's going on. Like, I think I was able to open up a bit to Booney the other day because she told me that she could tell my, like, I don't think y'all understand. Me and Boonie would talk every single day. And it wasn't until like recently I realized, I was like, I ain't talked to Boonie in about a week. Like, I don't think I've said a word.
Right.
And like I got so many messages from like whether it's her or like my mom and stuff. Like my mom was like, I need you to scroll up and read these messages before you go to talk to me. And I'm like, I haven't been checking anything. I'll have my phone, I'll listen, but I'm not actually like on it looking at it. I might scroll through some TikToks, but even that, like if I can't hear it, if it's not like somebody's story time or whatever, I'm just scrolling to hear somebody talk, but not uh funny dances or minute jokes. Like no, I'm listening, so I'm not actually looking at my phone. And I haven't been okay. It's more of, it's not like anything I can pinpoint because it's been going on for so long. um Being a parent, being a spouse, and it's just like it's a lot easier to focus on making sure everybody else is okay than it is for me to sit down and try to pinpoint, all right, why are you feeling this way, what's going on? Because like it makes me more stressed trying to figure that out, because I know in the time I'm trying to figure that out, I could be cleaning something, I could be tending to something else. My kids always need some kind of attention, something needs to get done. My husband wants to talk, or somebody wants to do something. Like it's a lot easier to just go ahead and go with the motion, go as I've been going all these years, and to just sit and actually try and deal with myself. It's like it adds more stress because I don't have the time. Now, if I had the time, I think that would be different, because then I could actually decompress, sort it out a little bit. Of course, I won't be able to sort everything out, but sort it out a little bit and then keep moving. But because I don't have that time, it feels like it's not worth it. Like, of course, that can affect everything, but it feels like it's not worth it. Like it's not worth me getting more stressed out than to just go on like I've been doing, go on autopilot and just keep going and just keep moving until something brings me out of it and I can just come out of it. Like I tried to meditate. Bonnie, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? I was talking to you, texting you.
Yesterday, I think. One of these days.
Okay,
I don't really know what days be going on in the week.
so whichever day that was, because I try to meditate in the shower, because let's be real, like the shower is practically the only time you'll have to yourself when you got a family. And even then, my kids still come in and out like, mommy, I need this, mommy, I'm doing this, mommy. And I'm like, look, get out. And I tried to meditate. And when I did, I was able to sort through a few things. And I realized I am grieving a lot. That's like one of the things. I've been on a constant like grieving trail. Like my best friend, my very, very best friend, like bestest friend in the whole wide world, passed away a few years ago. And anytime I think about her or have dreams about her, stuff like that, it just brings up, all the feelings and stuff over again. And it's like it hit me. It's like I had an epiphany, and I was like, I'm still grieving. Like it's like it goes on pause, and then out of nowhere it just comes back tenfold, and I'm like right back at square one. It's like I'm grieving not only the loss of my friend, but the loss of that love, like her and another friend I had. Like I lost them around the same time, so it's like I'm constantly grieving the loss of that love, because although yeah, I have a family, I got friends, I got people that love me, but nobody will ever love me like they love me. No two people love the same. And I realized I won't get that anymore. I won't have that same type of love ever again in life. And I'm constantly grieving that on top of uh, being a parent, trying to parent these two little monsters that have two completely different personalities, two different ways of learning. I'm overtouched, I'm overstimulated, and it's like it's so much all rolled up in one. It's like I'm not okay, and more like I just push through it the best way I can, the best way I've been doing, basically. So no, I'm okay, but not okay. Like he said earlier, it's like it's okay. It's not, but it's okay. I'm gonna push through it.
Yeah, it's good to not be.
Hi, can I say something?
Did it freeze? Did they freeze?
I think they froze.
Hey, man, whoever you are, man, I want to send you some hugs, man, like some virtual hugs. Like that's legit. That's legit
Yeah.
parenting life. Like what we literally go through on a daily, and it's wow. But I mean,
I'm okay if you if it's unfrozen. I'm okay if you want to say something.
It keeps going in and out.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My Jaguar right.
hey,
I
I
wanted
knew
to
you looked
address the young
familiar.
woman.
Hi. It's still
Hi,
frozen on
Miss
my
Wright.
Yeah,
How are you? Her
Hi.
name, what's her name? Via?
VL, I think. Well,
VL is
yeah.
her name?
yeah, she
Van.
was speaking.
Can I ask you a question, VL? How old are you?
30.
So you a baby. Got it. I want to tell you something. And as somebody who's been accused of every kind of mental health disease that there is, and the truth is the only thing that I suffer from is PTSD, and they say I have bipolar moments. I don't know whatever that means. I'm going to tell you from someone who's built themselves all the way up spiritually. You sound terrible. Like you make me want to cry. I feel bad for you because you've already ended all of your possibilities. You don't have time to meditate. You don't have time to grieve. You can't find the time to do this. You can't find the time to do that. No one's ever going to love you like this person. I'm missing this person. Your life sounds so sad. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying it because I'm trying to be emphatic. Everything that you just said about yourself is a lie. It's a lie. You will be loved and better than that. You should be expecting better than that. Whatever you lost, you should be expecting better than that coming. Not grieving for what you can't have. Yes, it was awesome. Yes, it was amazing. It's over. As much as I want my son back.
I'm not saying it like that.
As
I
much as
understand. I
as much
completely
as
believe I'll get better and I'll
can I
receive
finish
better.
speaking?
It's just
Can I please finish speaking? Because I wasn't finished.
Go ahead.
As much as I love my son and I wish I could have my son back, he's gone. But guess what? I still have a son here. And that's all the love that I got. So I double down on that love. And I don't just double down on that love for me. I double down on that love for those who are lost. You say you ain't got time. Why are you meditating in the shower? Why is everything that you do to help yourself in a rush? You're not worth taking the time for? You know, there's a very interesting saying that they have about mother like cats in the jungle. They eat first before their children. And the reason why they do that is because they know that they have to take care of themselves. Because if they fall, what's going to happen to the babies? We have to change the way we language self-help. As a matter of fact, we need to stop calling it help. We just need to call it what it is, love. You got to spend more time loving you. And I promise you, the second you get a little selfish and you start realizing that you're the shit and that your life moves the way it moves because of you and not in spite of you, the second that you demand love from everyone around you,
Yeah.
the second that you demand it from yourself, I promise you, your life is going to get better. But if you keep talking the way you're talking, you're going to talk yourself into an early grave and you're going to be alone. Because those were the words of a lonely woman, not a woman filled with abundance. And I look at you and I see abundance. Because when I see you, I see myself. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Start loving yourself. And then start making everybody love you the way you want to be loved.
Yes.
And that's all I
Yes.
got to say.
I think it's really about setting boundaries, because I feel like having a family. I don't have a family. Let me be honest. I'm 22. I'm probably the youngest person in the room. Okay, like, the closest thing to a child that I have is a cat right now. But overall, like, I have like an older brother and a younger brother, so I get like, and I grew up with a single mother, so I understand the pressure it is for a parent to an extent, at least from a child's perspective, on how stressful it can be to, I got to keep myself strong. I got to show them that I can get through this, because if I show them that I can't, they're going to believe they can't.
Why are you
I
worried
get
about
that,
them? Why are
but
you
it's a
worried about
boundary.
them? Why
Yeah,
are you
it's a
worried about
boundary.
them? Y'all you too worried about what other people thinking. You not thinking about you.
Yep. From what I learned from being in the hospital, they tell you take care of yourself first. Be selfish. Take care of yourself, because you can't put everybody else over yourself, because that's all we have is our own self.
And if you allow people to run all over you, that's exactly what they'll do. You know, I was always taught by my father, people can only do to you what you
allow
do.
them to.
People will treat you, and people will treat you the way they see you treat yourself.
So true.
Yeah.
I have another question that I want to dive into now, because we have a couple of people who have been inside of mental hospitals before, and
You mean like me?
I have been.
Amen.
I have been
For
too.
me,
But so for the people that have been, I want you to share some of your experiences in there. And to the people that haven't been, I want to know your
An
opinion on it.
experience with you on Thursday night. A woman walked up on me while I was sitting down. She farted on my neck, and then she said, "Shots fired."
oh no, oh no, oh no.
I want to laugh, but I low-key feel like it's not right to.
Me too.
I'm
She
sorry if
farted on
it's
my
funny.
neck.
If it's funny, it's fun.
Shots fired.
It's
If
the
it's-
sitting on her neck. Like, why they had to do that?
Cause
Oh,
and she
man.
was trying to get me to act up so that I couldn't be released, to mess up my release. Go out and come back. You can take it from here.
You see me?
Yeah, we can see you now. It was pausing while you were talking.
Thank you. It feels like, because everybody, no matter what you say, they take it. The staff take it as like you just might be saying anything at this point. You in here because you're just saying anything, whether you are telling your truth or not, or it just more of like trying to battle what people think you're crazy. And it's like I'm knowing that I wasn't, and just knowing, like, feeling like once you get labelized as having mental issues, people put you in a whole different class by itself. It's like, so that's how, if you feel discriminated. So now people look at you like, or you're crazy, or you might flip out. I can't act this way around you if you're not being afraid of that.
Try this phrase on. Crazy until proven sane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy until proven sane. So, and then once you get labeled as that, no matter if you have bipolar, depression, anxieties, it's something like you got mental problems. And that's what the narrative was. Because some of the people I met, they wasn't some of them wasn't crazy. They was sane. The only thing that some people had drug issues. So you'll see them get released, and then you'll see them come back in because they had drug issues. And that's also a form of mental illness as well.
How long was your stay in the hospital?
8 days. Well, 7 and 1 day at the ER.
First time, and 11 the second time. So altogether 20 in the past 2 years.
And that was the first time I went there. It was just more of discredit because some of y'all probably know what happened, but for me it was more to discredit what I was saying. And for me, I tend to move with facts and logic before I react. And for that, so now I just kind of dispelled anything that was there. And now I have to build my credibility, because before I went there, I already had a therapist. I told him my doctor had anxiety, so he filled me up prescription I was supposed to take. I didn't have the chance to go get it yet. And then next thing you know,
have some more lithium.
oh yeah, they gave me a shot of lithium actually.
Don't take the lithium.
No, they you can't refuse treatment though. Like, so the thing is, you can be like,
you can refuse treatment. You're just gonna stay another.
You're gonna stay longer. If you want to leave out the hospital, you have to take the treatment, and no matter what it is.
Some of those,
if you want to leave,
some of those medicines have so many adverse side effects though that they don't.
I was just about to say.
Like lithium is a salt-based medicine, which is possible to give you high blood. And any medicine like that you have to go get tested for monthly to see what the levels are in your body, to see if it's probably could be causing other issues. It's probably not as safe as others. Lithium is old too.
Right here.
Yeah.
And so, well, I guess you guys can talk.
Martell, you said you had did a stay in a facility, right?
I did a stay in an eating treatment facility. So, all right. So, so check it out. All right. It was really hard because one, I was going into a facility that had a predominant of all females, and it was all Caucasian, and it was Latino, but it was all female kind of.
Wahite people.
So yeah, not this. Let me just say not this. So I was kind of having problems because like I was trying to be myself, and I'm not an aggressive person. But it was hard, for a lot of the women there, because I was offending them, so I was always getting talked to off to the side, like, I know I'm black, I know I can get a little, what I'm saying, mannish. I am a man, I'm sorry, but like I'll tone it down a little bit. So, I just kept having to tone it down a little bit. And like, and it was almost where I was like literally compromising my blackness. Like, like for real.
Do you feel like you were really
did all of that?
Man, listen, I was on like my 17th day.
I'm gonna tell you what I did in the hospital. I answered everything honestly, and I was myself.
Yeah, I did. But it was like,
listen to me. There was this dude in there named Nobles, and he used to talk real crazy. Like he talks real crazy to everybody. Like he's just nuts. His whole goal is to stay in there because it's state sponsored, and he homeless. Yeah. So every couple weeks he'll kick a nurse in the nuts or grab a nurse titty and twist the nipples, just to make sure he can stay.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
Now, Nobles was talking crazy to everybody, and just ignore him. And then he started with me, and I looked at him, and I was like, "Do me a favor. You want to talk shit to me? I'm talking shit to you. I said, how about you take that velvet mouth, go eat you some snatch or suck you some dick, get you some teeth, and once you get you some teeth, you can talk some shit to me."
Oh, man.
And when I said that, he looking around to see if somebody was going to correct me. I was like, ain't nobody going to say anything because I'm saying what everybody else is thinking. Shut your toothless ass up and go sit down. Matter of fact, I got a cookie. I said, you want the cookie? He said, yeah. I said, shove it all in your mouth and shut it.
Woo, sheesh. I just told him I wanted to go.
Nigga talk crazy to me and I ain't crazy.
Hey, for real. It'll actually make you crazy.
So when you said they were toning down
when you start trying to mimic what you're trying to disprove is when the betrayal happens.
Yeah. Well, right. There I was telling people call me by love. Like
you trying to fit in a mental ward. For what? You're not mental.
Well, what did you mean by toning down your black?
All right, so
that was my question.
I'll use this for an example. All right, so I'm listening to R&B music. We love our R&B music. We jamming in the morning time. The lady was like, hey, could you play something more, more relaxing, more, more subtle? I'm like, okay. So they switch it and play some oh my gosh, I don't know, it was something. But I'm like, oh no, it was Jack Harlow. Yeah, it was Jack Harlow. They switched it to Jack Harlow because I remember I listened to a song of his that I like now. But it was like, what was wrong with my music? My music, you know, it wasn't no profanity, it wasn't nothing. It was just, you know,
It's
R and
not
B.
even that.
Like,
They changed your black R&B music to
Well,
a white
I
White
was about to
hip
person
hop.
say
that
that.
presents
White
He
hip
himself
did the
hop.
black.
same thing. That's all I'm about to say.
Presents himself black. Like,
Next thing you know,
So they
oh,
wanted
they
something
can't
that
be
was
talking
more
about you.
acceptable
yeah.
for
Check this
their
out. Check this out.
ears.
Oh, yo. So one more thing. Let me. And this is one thing I tell people too. So as they check my blood pressure in the morning, it was like, you know, normally it's high for you guys. Like she hit me with that. I was like,
who is you
bruh,
guys?
I like that.
You need to run a grievance,
I like,
and you need to
man.
run a grievance for that racist crap.
Look, I was real, like, listen, I was doing bad. I was like 130 pounds. I was sick. Like it was bad. It was real bad. But oh, and the lady said I couldn't brush my teeth after a certain time because I'm apparently showing yeah. So what happened was, it was funny.
You need to go listen to me. You need to go back and you need to report every last one of them. You know how many grievances I just wrote last week? 6.
See, I'm so humble. I got to do the hard.
Listen to me. I papers them. I papers them up. I papers them up heavy.
And it was rough.
They shouldn't have, they were not supposed to do that. Listen to me. They were not supposed to do that to you. And if I was you, I'd go back, I'd file grievances, and I'd sue.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm fitting to do. I'm fitting to sue all of Parkland.
For real.
Am I lying?
No.
So it was
Already.
mainly
I
like
remember seeing a
microaggressions,
girl.
right? It was mainly like microaggressions. Is that why you said
Yeah.
they were like taking away your black?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like, oh man, it was like, because first of all, like I said, I'm not that aggressive, but like it was almost like they were backing me into a corner. And like I got back so far into a corner where it came to the point to where I was feeling like I was wanting to feel aggression. Like I was wanting to, you know, show some color. You know what I'm saying? Like show some aggression and some anger, because it's like, oh, and a lady. So as we're sitting at the table, I had a problem saying I feel full, and I feel, you know, saying how I feel. And Jaguar, listen to this. It was crazy too, because I would write a grievance on this. So the lady, the girl, she's on part time. She was like, I don't like the way he says that. I don't like, you know, I don't like it when he say that. So they set me off to the side and was like, Martell, when you're at the dinner table, don't say you feel full. Don't say you feel, because I mean, I do. Like, bro, I feel full. I just took a bite. I feel full. I'm good. I don't want to eat no more. So, but we had to eat. You know, it was crazy. But yeah, it was something. But it was
Was that a
we
worker that said that?
huh.
Was it a worker that said that she didn't like you saying that you're full, or was it
No, it
somebody
was,
else that had a condition as well?
yeah, it was a client. It was a client. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. It's just,
Wow.
but see, the thing is, okay. So say if we're having a conversation, and like something comes up, you'll say pivot. You know, meaning like
Yeah.
switch subjects. If she would have said pivot, or if she would have said something else, anything else, I would have been like, oh, you don't like me saying that? Cool. Nah, bro. And then the crazy thing, like a couple of days later, once she got to know me, she started doing this apology stuff, and oh, I'm sorry. Like, why you so? And then that's when I found out, like, oh, you the one who been telling on me. But it's all right. It's all right.
It seems like that facility was more geared towards white people and not for us.
Bro,
Yeah.
I was the second black person that's ever been through that facility, like male.
Oh.
Before we continue going on, everybody, I just want to make sure that we don't overtalk each other. because it doesn't sound good on the playback for the podcast. So please just make sure if somebody's talking that we allow everybody to continue.
Just hit me with this.
No, I understand that. We all got feelings and we all want to say stuff, but this is being recorded, so we got to make sure don't interrupt somebody. Just let them continue, and then you can say your piece afterwards. I think I'll go now since you shared your stay, and then I don't know if anybody else has a story about being in the mental hospital, but I have done over 100 stays inside of mental institutions, and I've had a lot of bad experience inside of mental institutions where people that should not have been working inside of those facilities worked in there. I went to one facility where they had security guards working like the floor instead of actual staff. They I had a adverse side effect from one of the medicines they gave me. It's called Haldol, and the reaction I had is called dyskinesia, and it makes your body like move, like your muscles, like. And the security guard told me, "Hey, you're faking." I said, "Are you serious? Like, you are not qualified to tell me that. You are a literal security guard, not even an armed security at that. You are a security guard." So she literally, overstepped her boundaries. I've seen people literally smoke crack inside of a mental institution before. Somebody snuck it in. I've seen people do pills. I've seen people do drugs inside of mental institutions. I've seen the entire spectrum of people inside of these institutions. But I did realize that before going in, I thought people weren't normal. I thought they weren't, I'm different than all of them, but I realized that we're mostly all the same. It's just how our journeys led us to be here, because everybody is going through something. So my experience is some good, some great facilities I've been to, and some should be shut down immediately. But that's been my experience. I want to know anybody else's who hasn't been to one. Like, what is your perspective on it? Like, and would you ever consider going there, or was it something that you'd be like, no, I need to stay out, type of thing? Hard stop.
Well, from hearing y'all, it just seems like rather than helping people who have issues, they try to create them with specific people anyway, especially, I'll say Black people. It seems like they try, if you don't have an issue, they try to create them. They say and do things to trigger you, to get you to react a certain type of way, to make it seem like you have issues, but it's counterproductive. Basically, you're going there to get help, but you're leaving with issues because they're making you have them.
1 second. I have to, we got to pause right quick. It's only that way if you feed into the narrative. What I just did in Parkland Hospital in 11 days was proof that the system is flawed. I'm supposed to be this big raging nut, and all I got is PTSD with a hint of bipolar from time to time. Like,
so we know you ain't crazy, Jaguar.
But guess what? My enemies need me to be crazy, because if I'm crazy, then that makes me impeachable. You can't believe anything she says. She's crazy.
And I feel like being put in a mental institution, people use that as a form of a weapon now.
Oh yeah.
So you can put anybody in there, and sometimes it's baseless, and sometimes it's a form of weapon now. So that's what they've been doing to us, and now I feel like anybody that you're close to can put you in there because
I made them mad. They did everything they could do to me that last day. They gave me the worst nurse. They gave me the worst charge nurse. They were on me. And I was just like this. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But before going in there, I didn't know what to expect. I thought it because I wanted to go there by my own self when I'm like just to escape everybody in the real world.
Oh, and just so everybody knows, no, I don't know if I'm pregnant yet. I haven't taken the test. I've been spending time with my family. We was in the hot tub today. Today was hot tub Saturday. And that's what we did because we do the self-care. But I'm going to tell you this. The whole game is rigged. This whole mental thing is rigged. And you got to be smarter than them.
So
you got to be smarter than them.
Is it something you took from there that you would say that worked?
Absolutely. Because I helped people in there. I was helping people in there. They were sad to see me go.
I was too. I had a roommate. She didn't speak English, so I had to, universal talk with her. Like, and I ended up learning something.
Look, me and Angelica, she don't speak no English. I speak kitchen Spanish. And we was the best of friends. See, the problem in those places is they remove humanity from treatment. They're so busy treating you, they forget to treat you like a human being. So it's your job to remind them at every second, at every turn, you are a human being. You have rights. Your color don't matter. Your race don't matter. Your so-called diagnosis don't matter. You're a human being. They remove that. And that's the first weapon. Remove humanity so you have no dignity. I'd sue them. Bro, if I was you, I'd sue them all.
Yeah. I thought about it.
No, don't think about it. Do it. Get you a civil rights attorney and sue them. How dare they?
Yeah,
how dare they?
They gave me more trauma. When I was
they
gave me more trauma.
Yo, for real. I will say that it was good trauma and it was bad trauma, but it was a lot of bad trauma.
Where you find good trauma?
So right, good trauma. So good trauma is things that happen to you that makes you never want to go back to that scenario.
That's not
so
good
you
trauma.
don't.
That's just trauma. Ain't nothing good about trauma.
I know.
By definition.
So how would you say to like make?
I'm sorry.
Oh man.
What happened?
I removed them.
No, I'm with that.
I was trying to let you get your conversation in or whatever, but this ain't even about what we talking about no more.
Exactly. This is not how we conduct our
it's
podcast.
not even what we talking about no more.
Do y'all know Jaguar, right?
Yeah.
Exactly where she needed to go.
What's going on?
So she's right though.
I was sitting there looking at you, and I was like, "Is she okay? Somebody need to message her and see if she's okay."
Before I kicked him, I'm looking at him. I'm trying to let him get his little piece because he interested, right? I'm like, man, forget this.
Nah, because I love humanity and I love people and like just hearing how she feel about the situation, which I sugarcoat a lot of stuff, but she was right. And she was also right about you, VL, and I really want you to take some time off to yourself. But if you just take it just a little trickle of time, like not like,
because you can't. Because you can't be selfish with your family.
Exactly, because I have a family, but I don't think anybody was listening. I said I take time when I can. It's just more difficult to do so. And I wasn't saying I don't believe I won't be loved at all. I'm just saying I know I won't get the same type of love from Neil.
I feel like
she messaged me like, fix your face, because I was gonna say something. I'm trying. I'm working on, bro. I'm working on myself.
Is that why you messaged me?
I was trying so hard, like, bro, what is she talking about?
I was just like, oh my goodness.
She's talking about best friend like that. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I was immediately like, I was like, kick her.
Where's she going with this?
Boonie, you are better than me. If I was in the meeting, she would have been out of here.
God, you have a straight face, but I saw her eyes and I just sent her a message. I was like, fix your face.
Like, fix your face. I'm like, bruh, I'm trying so hard.
I did not know it was gonna happen that way.
What's the point? What's your point? Like,
I mean, I ain't even get to answer the question either. Like,
they were making it about them. This is about everybody, not just them. I'm like, God dang.
Martell and Goldie, I want y'all to know that this is not how Boonie or I conduct our podcast.
Yo,
this is not how things happen.
I'm like,
hey, low key, I'm really impressed because she's kind of a superstar. So,
hey, we got.
I ain't gonna lie, I don't know neither one of them like that. I heard the name before.
I use that clippable moment.
Wait, isn't that the shorty that was? She was walking through the airport and they was like, "No, you can't." Da da da. And she was like, "They trying to kill me." Da da da.
Her.
That's the same girl.
I ain't never saw nothing
talking about Puff Daddy and.
Cause I'm sorry, that's just a reboot of Orlando Brown. Like, I'm not saying nothing's wrong with, like, there's a lot of celebrities out here that's coming out and they saying that, oh, it's really how they saying it's not how it is in Hollywood. And regular people are like, okay, we know.
We been
just get out of Hollywood. We don't care. Like, everybody that's on content creation is not trying to be in Hollywood. We just trying to be at home and creating our content.
Right. We don't care nothing about what's going on there. I'm like, bruh. I'm trying to hold it. She messaged me because I was
wondering why
we see each other at the same time. And I'm like, she like, fix your face.
Oh man.
That is not how we conduct it.
I was trying to hold it together.
Boonie, I would have kicked him faster than you. I was ready. I was as soon as she started interrupted Van, I'm just like, come on now.
Because I was like, where is she going with this? Because some of what she said was right, but at the same time, like,
it's aggressive.
You don't really got the right to tell somebody how they should feel or how they should do things. Like, it's still how she feels still valid, regardless of what you think.
Van cannot go around and say to your kids.
Like, I was fine until, like, you asked the question, Royal, you asked the question, he got to telling his story, and then I look over, they done changed the name to her name. I'm like, they're trying to make this podcast, interrupting him, and like, you know what I did? You know what I did? And I'm like, we're not asking you what you did. We're asking him how he felt in there. Like, we're listening to his story. Come on now.
Like, this is not about I don't know what they trying to make it about them, but we trying to talk about something real. Like, dang, stop interrupting.
I just saw a video on YouTube. I didn't watch it, but the title said, "Why should Jack or Ray dump Shagina?" And I'm like, but y'all sitting there together. What are y'all doing here? What are y'all really doing here? Yeah, if you go on YouTube, you type in her name, Jaguar Wright, and you just scroll. You ain't got to watch the video. Just scroll of the videos with her names in them. And it says why Jaguar Wright should dump Shagina.
Lagina. I think that was weird.
I don't know them. So I
had the conversation.
I wasn't invested. So I
had the conversation with her because I wanted to see if she had her head on straight. And when we had a 30-minute talk and she sounded fine.
I told him they all do. Everybody be sounding fine. When you start experiencing it, you see.
No, it was the whole Aaliyah and R.E.A.L and my mama and daddy that took it for me. I was like, is this really that girl? Like, I'm looking on YouTube. I was like, oh my God.
You were looking at that while you were...
That's her? Oh, damn.
Wait a minute.
I've never seen any of this, so I'm lost. When they talking, I'm not invested. I'm like, what's happening?
But I probably know about my story.
But he told me about them before, about her before, but I literally have never seen anything.
Yeah, I'm gonna got a glimpse at my phone.
I'm lost.
Name, and then
I'm lost too, though.
Like, is this them? And I was like, oh my God, it is.
TikTok.
Thank y'all.
She pulled up her chair, and I'm like, bro, what is this? We're not you.
No.
I tried to get him a chance, though. I'm like, you know what? Everybody
Me too.
be respectful.
I was like, okay, she said her piece, but when she started interrupting people, then I'm like, all right, you do it too much.
I'm sorry.
Honestly, in the recording, I would probably leave in that first part where she was talking and then she stopped. And then after that, just no. I'm sorry.
My mama was like, Van, why are you looking at your phone? And I was looking at my phone case. I was looking at my settings. She was like, Van, why are you looking at your phone? Because neither you or Boonie listening. And I was
I
like,
was
oh.
not. I was not even gonna lie.
I
I'm glad
stopped
you made
listening
that.
too.
And then she's talking to him, and I'm looking at his face, and he's so invested, and I'm like, bro, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to cut you off.
I listen. This is a two-way street. I talk and I listen.
She was. It ain't nothing wrong with what she was saying. It was just. It's not the.
It
It's
was
not the place
how,
nor time
yeah,
for that.
right. It's
That's for
right.
an interview. That's not for a
Right,
podcast.
exactly.
Exactly.
It's about all of us, not just you and what you did. Like,
Exactly.
That's what I said. I was fine with what she was saying. It's just when it got to a point, I'm listening to him, and she's like, you know what I did? You know what I did? And it's like, look, pause. Just hold your thought. Write it in a note. Something. Type it in the chat if you got to get it out.
nah, they itching to
Something.
get that information out. But don't they talk about this all the time? So
My
Same
mom
stuff.
said, yeah.
I'm not.
Really run away from people like that.
why are you still like, why are you so anxious to get it out? You've talked about it so many times.
No, what topped it for me is when I looked over and I saw they changed the name. It wasn't old girl's name no more. It was Jaguar, right? I was like, oh, okay, see, now you're doing too
Boonie,
much.
are we leaving this?
Because she was like, hey, I'm Jaguar, right? And I'm like, oh my God, here we go.
I didn't even know she was there with her.
She was talking to. I was paying attention to everything. She was talking because she kept muting her mic. She was talking to somebody in the background. I said, watch this lady pop up because you already then gave me the rundown. I don't know who they are. Never seen the video. I know her name, but I've never seen nothing about her talking about being R. Kelly and Aaliyah's daughter. None of that. Because I'm a terrible social media person.
It just clicked. Okay, it just clicked. It just clicked.
She was like, she looked over and she was like, wait, and she showed me her phone. She said, is this them? And I looked over, I was like, oh my God.
But she was like, why are you talking about yourself like that? I'm like, huh?
You know what?
Why did that trigger you?
Like,
You
bitch,
know
I'm
what kind of make me upset though? She kind of upset me with all the rocks on her wrist. Don't be doing my spirituality like that. We don't be acting out of character. Like we chill, we to ourselves.
Some of them do that.
You know what? This is a testament to us being that we don't want the virality in that way, because we could have kept them on and this could have been a viral clip. But I did not want to go viral that way.
I'm good on viral from some
good.
It was like, unless y'all want some clout and want to ask her how she Aaliyah and R. Kelly child, and
y'all was talking in the message, and I was just like in here trying to reel myself in. Like, okay,
your face was telling it all.
I told Boonie that too though before. Like when her face will tell you the story about how she feeling. I'm just like, she is not feeling this.
Bro, what is going on? And I'm trying not to say nothing. Yes.
I'm trying to go in the group chat.
And Van messaged me. She like, is Goldie okay? That's when I messaged you. And I'm like, are you okay? So I'm checking on everybody first to see how everybody really feeling about it.
I lied.
I was invested.
Right, because Goldie face was like, she wasn't even here. I was like, is she okay right now? Because this is not how we do things. Somebody need to let her know this is not normal.
And because everybody messaging me, so I'm trying to, and then Nadia pop up. It was a lot going on. Like, I was so confused.
Okay, so are we keeping the first half in before we continue? I'm like, what
you better use that. Be like, Jaguar stepped in for a minute.
I feel like the part before she came, maybe, because she was doing too much.
She gonna pop up. Let her pop up for a little bit. Say hey. And then
she was doing too much. She ain't even said. She pull up a chair. I'm like, oh, you can take. She told the girl, you can take it from there. I heard every single thing that was going on in there.
I heard that part.
In the background.
Watch, they gonna make something about us and say how we kicked them off or the video went off and we was on the podcast and they didn't even show our clip and like, okay.
And whenever they call us on the newscast, we're gonna be like, no, this
right. Look, give us the business without having to show you. That's fine.
What happened? I was in the
Because
room
we
at
definitely,
8:47 at night.
deleted her out.
We were just having a normal conversation about mental health, and then all of a sudden,
Boom.
out of nowhere,
She was
right
like,
when you asked,
I got
you was
something to say
like,
because I don't think she was the girl was out of line, Legina, whatever her name is. I
No,
don't think
not
she
at
was
all.
out of line. It just was her. She just came and was like, well, this is what I gotta say about it. Who asked you?
Oh shit.
Nobody asked.
If Legina would have asked me, could Jaguar be on, I would have said no. I invited you on.
So how do you know? How you know her? How do you know her? Oh, sorry.
I reached out to her. I reached out to her because I get curious about people like that. I want to know, are you really what people think you are?
Yeah.
And we got the answer.
I don't even think it's really her. It's Jaguar.
Influencing.
She met Jaguar in the mental hospital, and Jaguar has a semblance of.
Bro, why didn't you say that at first?
I didn't know. I didn't know that before a couple of days ago. I didn't know that before a couple of days ago. And then I realized. Then she told me she was staying with her earlier today. She's living with her.
They just want to talk to everybody that go listen, and I ain't wanted to hear it. I was like, bro.
Yeah, that's really what it's giving them. Yeah.
Pony said, I'm not gonna listen to this.
When Van told me fix my face, I was like, bro.
I swear.
I don't think I can do that about my face.
I swear, Boonie, I would have kicked him so fast.
Like I said, I was fine with it, but I was like, hold up, let me swipe back. And I'm listening to her talk, but I'm looking at Boonie's face, and I'm like, you about to piss her off more than me, and you're talking to me.
She did, because when she was like, I'm like, who she
Can I finish? I didn't like that. I didn't like that. Can I finish? Can I finish speaking?
Because you cut her off first, or you came and butt in when she was talking, and then can you speak? How you demanding respect and you ain't giving her?
I got mad for you, man, because I'm like,
mad.
You can't sit there and tell your kids to shut up. It's me time. You got a family.
You can't do that. That's not practical. You gotta be selfish.
Like I said, I understand what she was trying to say. I do get some points. Like, you do have to take time for yourself. You do have to be selfish. It's just you can't just sit there and be like, look, I'm gonna do this right now. Get away from me. It takes time to make time. Like, I get that 100%. When she was like, you sound sad. I am, bitch. Did you not hear me? Like, were you not?
And then right
I
before
swear you should have said that. You should have said that. I am, bitch.
And she was trying to explain what she meant. She like, bruh, you want to fight? See, this is why I'm not. This is why this internet stuff ain't for me. Ain't for me.
You want to fight?
You want to fight? Is that what you're saying?
Are we still recording?
Yeah.
You know it.
Okay.
What you doing, bro?
Hold on a second.
And then this too. What you doing?
I got a question for everybody that's here. Do y'all think that we should keep all this in?
Not all of it.
Not all of it.
Because I feel like that's what she wanted.
We had like shifted it
You get the wrong type of cloud, like the wrong type of attention.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Wrong with mental patients, but then you have certain type of mental patients, and I believe we're gonna get that type.
I don't want to go to that side of YouTube. I don't want to be on that drama side of YouTube.
First of all, I ain't gonna know what's going on because I don't. You can tag me or anything you want. I ain't know what's going on. I ain't responding to nothing. But keep doing my podcast like I've been doing. Like ain't nothing happening.
Hey, that's crazy. You know what? We live and we learn. Yo, that was a crazy episode, right? Thank you all for tuning in. I am sorry for the abrupt stop, but part 2 is up right now on the Social Cycle podcast. This is our first joint episode. It was a wild ride. So you guys stay tuned. It gets better, y'all. It gets better. To be honest, I think the Social Cycle podcast has the better half of this episode. So go over there to the Social Cycle Podcast right now. Do it now. Do it now.